Okay, we're gonna try something a little weird, a little wacky-dacky. Camera keeps slipping. Okay, here we go. It's the first time reading this, so who knows? The pitch black dimension was boundless in length, yet as claustrophobic as being buried alive. Prolieum didn't know where he was, but he knew exactly what was happening. Ah, welcome, my big furry friend. Anything I can do to make the scenery more comforting for you? A voice rang out. Being back at home in my room would be pretty damn comfy, the demon answered with venom. But that's not the answer you'd be looking for, now would it, you scarlet menace? I suppose that can be arranged, actually. A quick succession of two claps radiate out from the distance as the room brightens, shifts, and twists into places to resemble Prolium's room back in Algiers to the perfect detail. Oh, but you won't be needing this distraction for now, the voice says as a snap can be heard, and the Eve from the room fades out and is replaced with Orpheus. There, much better. A frown paints Prolium's face. Ah, psychological warfare, one of my personal favorite tactics back in the day. Less fond of it when it's used on me. Apologies. Perhaps that was a bit in the opposite direction of where I wanted our little chat to go. I promise you your adorable little Eve is fine. No thanks to your pal Ares. Don't make the mistake of thinking I'll forget what he did. Now, what direction do you want this to go in? Enlighten me before my interest fades. Pal is very much so an overstatement, my friend. He is to me what a blood-sucking insect is to a person. But I digress. I would like to know just why you hate me so. Surely it is not unfounded, yes? Amused, Prolieum crosses his arms and answers. Funny that you've taken a liking to me then, friend. Perhaps Elvis would be better company, wouldn't he? He's got hatred for Ares as big as my... I digress. You stalk myself and my army enough to know us. Why do you think I hate you? Aside from jealousy of my powers, none exactly comes to mind. For although I may see what you do, I can never not quite tell what's going on in all your fascinating minds, Orpheus says with defeat. Well, oh so not omniscient one, let me share exactly how I feel. I feel like you belong in this world as much as I do, which is to say, not at all. It doesn't take an annoying detective or a creepy demon researcher to figure out something isn't copacetic with the dimension-hopping jester. The jester who's a step ahead of his enemies. The jester who acts above it all. The jester who acts cordial while pissing someone off. The jester that has power to be feared and envied. The jester who needs to relearn the idea of respecting someone's privacy. And the jester I know nothing at all about, despite my immortality. And for this, you hate me so? But wait, there's more. Call me prideful, but I don't like to lose. Not one bit. Damn shame it's been happening so much lately. Makes me realize I'm getting a little old. Not as powerful as I used to be. A dog like me may have to rely on my brain more to get ahead. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like you can relate. Yes, I'd say so. Or I would, had I one still rattling around in there. Either way, the point still stands, and you shall not be corrected. Good. I've had a lot of time to stew. Glad my theories aren't faulty. Speaking of, any chance you'd tell me what I'd see? You took off your laughable mask. Orpheus stares dead into Prolium's eyes, unblinking. An awkward, eerie silence fills the air. No. Prolium stands his ground, cautious but unafraid. That question is a bit of a mood ruiner. Noted. Anyway, you want the penultimate answer to your question, Orpheus? Orpheus relaxes himself a bit upon hearing this. Oh yes, after all, it is the main question of the evening. You may not be able to hear my thoughts, and I don't know how much you spy on little old me, so for the sake of conversation, I'll give you a freebie. There's only one person I hate more than you. Prolieum widens both eyes and smiles wide as if he's posing for a cheesy photograph, simultaneously pointing two thumbs at himself. And you remind me a lot of that person. Take the compliment if you want to. I will gladly decline your gracious offer as my mind wanders in confusion at one of your spontaneous identity crises. Orpheus gives a sigh and shakes his head. I do not wish to be rude to you, or to make you feel threatened, or to make you comply out of fear of losing those that you care about. I came here to negotiate good terms, but that is clearly a fruitless endeavor. With you, I apologize for wasting both of our times. May Hades have mercy on your soul. Prolieum takes a deep breath. Every instinct in his body tells him to lash out with dramatic anger. But good old Al was proof enough that this doesn't work. Wit and patience would be the only way to combat a foe like Orpheus. Besides, how could something this curious not entice him? That was rude of me, wasn't it? Well, I don't think it's fair to expect someone as old as me to have it all together with how things have been going as of late. If you have an offer, I'd like to hear it at least once. Maybe only once, though. I suppose I'll indulge you, as you're giving an attempt to trying your best not to ruin your chances. However, this is not meant for the others' ears as of yet. This will be our little secret. Spoil it, and, well, I won't be at fault for what happens. I don't like this, I'm sure you can guess. But I'm not going to get in my own way this time. Not when something important is at stake. I promise to listen and to keep it to myself. If you mean to be helpful, Jester, I'm all ears. Time passes. And for obvious reasons, Doc, Prolieum said, I can't tell you what happens next. His words make it sound as if any answer to my question of what you two discussed would result in consequences. Instead, I'm curious about something you said. What do you see of yourself in Orpheus? That is in fact why I like humans like you, Doc. You're curious, unlike our jester. What that scarlet scumbag doesn't seem to know is that I've seen him before. Not literally, mind you, but that affable cunning, the toying with his enemies, blurring the lines between friend and aforementioned enemies, and his flair for dramatics. I've seen it, I know it, I've been it. Therefore, I can't trust him to be anything other than a self-serving scumbag. Risen from his seat, hands placed behind his back, Prolieum continues his monologue. Orpheus has played his hand, let a few secrets loose, too. He can't read our thoughts, which is more than convenient for me. Secondly, he's not human. He couldn't be. And with that, well, there's only so many options for what he could be, isn't there? Your theory is that he's a demon, Lucas queries. Yes. The human expert on demons agrees with me, if you don't feel like trusting me. Oh, about that. Word of advice, Doc. Never ever trust something inhuman. No matter how cordial, how helpful, there isn't a single hellion that doesn't have evil in their soul. Prolieum walks out of the therapist's office, leaving Lucas to think about what had been said. His chat with Orpheus had been enlightening. His mysterious foe had played more of his hand than he meant to, Prolieum was sure of it. The game had stayed the same, merely the rules had been changed. Strength could only get Prolieum so far, but raw power was never the only weapon in his arsenal. He has brains. Addled as it is, the two companions lying within are not, and simply have all the time in the world to analyze the words of a jester, now that they've so conveniently heard the conversation be shared with Lucas. 3 minds would prove to be better than 1. It would have to work, Prolieum. Oh, okay. It would have to work. Prolieum refuses to get in his own way. Not this time. Whatever goals Prolieum sets his eyes on will come into fruition. For what his word is, he promises that. This took 12.5 minutes, and this voice is fucking killing me, Doc. And also, it sounds like someone doing a Goku impression.